Hello fellow old schoolers. Today it's time for some more old school magic. And this day, I'm pretty excited about that. Today it's going to be about the mono brew matches here. We had one recording previously where the mono black brew was going up against a mono green brew. And today we have the green deck trying to go up against white. And this entire theme of this series of games is about to launch here is built upon the rules from the Danish Doom online tournament that's been going on for the last month or so. And the rules are in essence that you have to brew like a mono colored brew, no other colors allowed, and no artifacts allowed, no power allowed, so no blue power either for those blue players. But you can play Wheel of Fortune, Demonic Tutor, Mind Twist, and Regrowth. And also blue has access to Brain Geyser. Apart from that, no special lands are allowed, only the lands that produce the relevant mana. So that means no Maze of Ith, no Diamond Valley, no Mrs. Workshop, no Library of Alexandria, no Mrs. Factory. So this is like a totally new meta here. We don't know which brews will be good and which will be bad. So it's just trying to experiment with a bunch of stuff here. Obviously hate cards will be very, very powerful against the other color stuff like Karma, Gloom, Life Force, all that kind of stuff. But there are no sideboards allowed in this meta. So that means that you can't, if you put in a Life Force and will likely just wreck black with that as a green player, you'll have that as a dead card in all other matchups because the Life Force will not affect them. So it's like a balancing act here to see if this is even worth it to do. Obviously some cards will be just brutal, like the white card Conversion that makes all mountains into plains. It will just wreck red, right? But again, it's a dead card against any other matchup. And I played in the online tournament in this one, and I rolled for which color I'd get, and I got the mono black. So that was pretty thematic and pretty fitting for this channel. And but I don't think it's the best color in this format at all. I think it might be red or it might be white, but who knows? We'll see. In this particular one, I have tried to brew a white deck with these rules. Got together with Jens Ole, the guy with the Smash Attack decks, and we just tried to tweak it. And we also brewed a mono green deck and just tried to make them fight each other. The mono black deck actually won against mono green in the previous match. Spoilers, by the way. So it seemed like it had a better matchup there. But I don't know, perhaps green will have a better matchup against white. I certainly think white will have a decent matchup against black. But black is no slouch either. I mean, I made it into the semi-finals, the top 4 in the Doom tournament, with a huge tournament with like, I don't know, 60-70 players, something like that, and it was with a mono black brewer set. So mono black, I might be underestimating it, but that's neither here nor there. This time it's green coming up against the powerhouse of white. Let's get it on. And this is the mono white deck that we tried to brew here, just a bunch of creatures in the top. I really dig the monastic feel of a mono white brew like this. We have all the white knights and preachers, and the white knights will be great against mono black, but it's also a solid creature on its own. Northern Paladin is very, very good against black as well, but it can function as a very, very nice just main deck card as well, being a 3/3. The Preachers and the Witch Hunter will just be these special kind of creatures. The Witch Hunter can ping for a point of damage to the opposing player, and it can also unsummon a creature each turn, sort of like half a time elemental. The Preachers will obviously be able to steal creatures, and in a creature heavy meta like this, that'll be very, very nice. The Lions will be great, and so will the the Mesa Pegasi. The great thing about the Mesa Pegasus, apart from them being flyers, is that they have banding, and in this matchup that'll actually make it possible for them to like tank a full-on berserk for 20 points of damage, as when you have banding you decide where the damage go. So you can just decide to make all the damage go to the Pegasus and the berserk won't trample over it. And you can obviously band with your Serra Angels as well. We have 3 Serra Angels here. And we also make use of the veteran bodyguard. Usually not the top pick in white, but in a meta with a bunch of small critters here, he'll be worth his weight in gold, just bodyguarding any unblocked creatures. And that's because any unblocked damage that goes to the player will go to the bodyguard instead. Now, we'd usually use Crusades here as an enchantment, but we might face up against other white players, and the Crusades will just boost them. So instead we have opted for some castles, or a single castle here. It will provide a +2 toughness for all untapped creatures, and it's only our own creatures that will get this benefit. Obviously the 4 Swords to Plowshares, a couple of Spirit Links, and a couple of Disenchants. Disenchants are not as important in this meta, as there aren't any artifacts at all, and most of the enchantments won't be worth much unless they're like anti-enchantments most of the time. Holy Light will provide some pretty tricksy plays. You can play when it provides -1/-1 to all non-white creatures. We'll just clear the board from like Royal Assassins, Llanowar Elves, Script Sprites, stuff like that. Perhaps more of those should be played. I also think that 4 Spirit Links could be considered here. I mean, there are so many creatures and we lack spot removal, so the Spirit Link might actually be worth as a 4-off here. And just like the theme of the classical quick white weenie deck, we also play with Armageddons here, just destroying all lands in play. And we can do this if we ever get ahead in creatures. There's also the land text to synergize with the Armageddons, and also just to mana fixers. A viable option here could be to include even more land texts and then fewer lands, trying to get mana fix through the land texts instead. A few hate cards has found their way in here: Conversion and Greater Realm of Preservation. Greater Realm of Preservation is a circle of protection that works against both black and red, but it provides it costs 2 mana to activate, but still it'd be very good against 2 colors here, but it would be worth it in this matchup. The Conversion has been included just because it just seems so brutal against red, and I think red will probably be one of the nastier matchups for white here. And it might not even be worth mentioning, but of course a balance is included in a creature heavy matchup like this. The balance will just be great. So yeah, that's the first draft of the mono white deck here. Let's check the green player, the green brother. As for the green brother here, we've seen this in the previous match against black. It's the same deck, just a bunch of mana ramping Llanowar Elves here, and some Voloi Wolves just to power everyone up. We also have the Pendelhaven as a special land. It's allowed here as it produces green mana. We have Script Sprites and Whirling Dervishes, again against a great card against black, but it can be pumped with the Pendelhaven and provide a solid creature here as well. The Dryads are there as they are 1/1 Forest Walkers, so they can be great against another green wizard. We only had 2 trackers. I would have liked 4 just to kill off Preachers and Sorcerer's Queens and Witch Hunters. It can tap and you pay a couple of mana, and the tracker will do as much damage as it has in power, which is 2, to the opposing creature, and it will take damage from the opposing creature as well, and its toughness is 2 as well. So it's an excellent creature just to get rid of all those special creatures out there. Then we got 4 Enumgens, just a solid, very strong creature. No, I actually think we only had 3 Enumgens. 4 could be in here, I think. The drawback is pretty bad in a setup like this because there are so many creatures, but still they're worthwhile. 4 Giant Growth and 4 Berserks has been included as well. As for enchantments, a couple of Sylvan Libraries. Just a very solid enchantment. I think we could go back to 1 here, but it's very good even without having any shuffle effect. We also have included 3 Hurricanes because green really lacks air defense and air strength here, and also 2 Beefy Freed, so it's 3/3 flying creatures where you can pump green mana and it'll do damage to all flying creatures and all players. So just like a living Hurricane here. So white will have solid defenses with its castle and its enchantments and all its great creatures, and will be able to steal creatures and unsummon creatures with its special creatures. Green will try to counter that with its trackers, and then punch through, I guess, with giant growths and berserks pumped up by Pendelhavens and Volui wolves for big bursts of damage here. That is the overall idea anyway. Let's see how this one will play out. This is round number 1. And by the way, much of the artwork used here is from a childhood movie back in, I think it was back in '82, called The Flight of Dragons. And yeah, just a great adventure movie. We had a watcher here on the channel that already knew it, but it's not a commonly known movie, and I don't know, it might not even be as good anymore. I really liked it as a kid though, and I still think it's good. Anyway, let's go. So the white brother got his won the roll off here, starting off with the plains, and there's a Pendelhaven turn 1 from the green player and a Llanowar Elf, much stronger. White knight from the white player here. But if he chooses to, that elf can block it, becoming a 2/3 from that Pendelhaven. He also has 3 mana already, the green player. Okay, tapping out Graffiti for 3 mana, getting a Sylvan Library and a 1/1 Dryad out here. Holy Light. Such a brutal card in this one, in this meta. I think we should have more, actually. White Knight coming over for 2 points of damage here, and the green player starts shifting through that Sylvan Library, getting what he needs here. Okay, drawing into a forest. I guess that's what he needed, having lost that Llanowar Elf. There's the Volui Wolf, only a 1/1 creature, but remember, the Pendelhaven, it can take refuge in that Pendelhaven and become a 2/3. White just realized that here, not attacking anyway, but there's a Paladin coming out. It's 3/3, so it can tangle with the wolf. But I suppose the wolf can actually tap to pump itself, thus becoming a 3/4. So like a factory, it can actually block and then tap to pump itself, getting pumped with that Pendelhaven. So solid defenses from green here. We need some Swords to Plowshares out of white. Castle coming out. Okay, really a defensive game. So the Paladin is now a 3/4, and 3/5, and the White Knight is a 2/4 first strike. Solid enchantment, that castle. Just taking a sip of the coffee here. Okay, nothing coming out of green. Oh, it looks like a Serra Angel, and it is. And the Serra Angel doesn't even tap. So when it's not attacking, it's a 4/6 blocker. Oh, but a huge Hurricane. It's not enough though. It's only 4 damage, and as said, that castle will protect the Serra Angel from that Hurricane. So okay, electing to casting Tranquility here. I suppose that play makes sense. Otherwise the Serra Angel will just coming unopposed. So getting rid of his own Sylvan Library, but at least taking that castle with him. Ooh, Preacher coming out here. And there's the Hurricane, just flinging the angel out of the sky here, and also doing 4 points of damage to both players. Okay, and the Preacher starts persuading the wolf to join White's cause here. Before it joins, it pumps the other wolf. He blocks the knight and then pumps himself, becoming a 3/3. Another Serra Angel coming out here. This is a desperate situation for green. Oh, another Hurricane though. He's at 3 life. Yeah. So next time that Traitor Wolf will untap. I suppose White could just attack with both creatures, as he does here. Yeah. So green has no other option than to block the Paladin. No, if he does so, he dies. He needs to block the Paladin. Oh, he forfeits the game here. Mono White wins. Green can't come back from that. So we're going straight into round number 2 here. No sideboard. Remember, this meta, there are no sideboards. Llanowar Elf. So solid start from the green player again. And the Lion from white. Okay, Tracker coming out. It's huge because when you get the Tracker out before the Preacher can get out, you can actually kill the Preacher before he can steal it. Oh, but he gets Swords to Plowshare immediately. The wolf gets over. Oh wait, green needs to take 2 points of life from that tracker. He forgot. Enumgen coming out here. He can block those Savannah Lions all day, but one of the Savannah Lions will get Forest Walk in the upkeep. Spirit Link on the Enumgen, keeping the Enumgen back here. And that looks like a Benelish hero. Yep. We have kind of tweaking the decks between the rounds here. So I remember there weren't a Benelish hero in the deck picture starting off this game, but I suppose it's found its way in there. So now he has to give one of the Savannah Lions. Green has to give one of the Savannah Lions Forest Walk now. Whirling Dervish coming out, and another Whirling Dervish. So the Spirit Link will hold the Enumgen back, and one of the Savannah Lions can get in each turn. Punching in here. White Knight coming out. And a Mesa Pegasus. It's very good with that Mesa Pegasus because it can stop Berserks from getting in, if white is mindful about it. 3 Whirling Dervish. I mean, if green were against black here, it would be so brutal, drawing into so many Whirling Dervishes, as they have protection from black, and they will grow +1/+1 each turn every time they get in. So it's a brutal clock against black. Looks like perhaps a Swords to Plowshare coming out of white again here, giving it a good think though. Nope, it's a Benelish hero, and the Mesa Pegasus comes over. Suppose it can fly over. Why doesn't? Oh yeah, because the Enumgen will now give the Mesa Pegasus Forest Walk. That bird over there, I think it's a 1/1 flyer, and it can tap to keep another creature from regenerating. Pretty good in this meta as well. We just found it. Didn't know it existed, or I didn't know. So we just put it in there. I mean, I know almost all old school cards, or I thought I did, but that one has escaped my notice. Enumgen attacking here, that's a pretty weird play. Now he gets in, Giant Growth, Berserk. White just lets him in here. 2 Berserks. Oh, he has a Swords to Plowshare in hand. Okay, the thing is here, Spirit Link only activates after the damage is done. So if you can actually kill the other guy in one punch, like berserking like this, it will kill the other player before the Spirit Link takes effect. It's not like a life link where it's instantaneous. So that's very key to know about Spirit Link. You can still kill with it before you gain life. But white had a Swords to Plowshare in hand, and if he had blocked the Enumgen, he would just lose a creature for no gain. So makes sense. Serra Angel coming out here. There's just a bunch of life on the green player though. Hurricaning here for 4. So it's a cheeky play with white keeping that Swords to Plowshare back in hand, but it did provide the green brother, with just a bunch of life here. Another Llanowelf. Both sides just amassing huge armies of critters against each other here. Green being ahead in life. Now he's attacking with everything. Okay. Huge battle about to take place here. So he bans and blocks one of the Whirling Dervishes. And he Giant Growth the Whirling Dervish. That's pretty silly because there's banding on the Benelish hero. So it's in order to make the Whirling Dervish survive. Okay, I suppose that makes sense. But yeah, all the damage will just go on the Benelish hero here, and all the rest of the creatures are trading. So doing it like that puts white at 1 creature left here. And all the creatures of the forest are just coming storming out of the woods here. As a preacher though. Now it can take one of the creatures and just keep on blocking with it. Here they come. I think. just passing the turn. Okay, so the preacher will convince one of them to join. Okay, and it uses its ability to keep another creature from regenerating. I think that's what it does. Anyway, it comes over tapped, so that's the way to keep him open for the next attack. Another white knight hitting the table. Another Sylvan Library coming out here from green. So we might be able to dig for some good stuff here. Perhaps an Unimgen would be nice. Or a Tracker. Just to kill the preacher. And then perhaps trade with a white knight if he so chooses. I don't think the bird is a flyer then, is it? I mean, did he give him a flyer? I think he did. That's a bit odd. Now he can get in each turn, but I suppose it does open white up a bit. Okay, so the bird flies in, and a Northern Paladin comes out. Just backing all the white knights. The Holy Order of White here, with a preacher, 2 white knights and a paladin. Against all the elves and wolves and riders of the forest. Okay, here they come. Okay, a paladin blocks an elf. White knight blocks a wolf, and another white knight blocks the whirling dervish. Giant growthing, berserking, another berserk. Oh man, and there's no cards on the hands of the white player. Oh, there were, but there were only lands. That's game. That's a huge punch. It's at 4, 8, 16 points of damage from that single elf. Let's go into round number 3 here. It's 1-1 at this point, and the green player is mulliganing down to 6 cards here. But just punching in with all those berserks. It's really a dangerous deck to play against because it can go off at the drop of a hat like this. Okay, turn 1 land text coming out of white. That's something new here. And the usual elf turn 1 from the green player. Probably the best start he can get. Oh, it would be a Pendelhaven into an elf. Okay, Willowy Wolf coming out. It can trade with the lion if he so chooses, but he chooses not to. That makes sense. I would put the wolf as being a better creature as well once it hits the table. Attacking with the elf and then pumping it with the wolf. Okay, he takes it. 2 points of damage to the white player. And the land text can't get activated because white continues to have more lands in play than the green. And I don't think the land texts are that great against green because green doesn't need as many lands as white, as he has the elves to support his mana base. So he can just keep back with his lands here, not play more lands than his opponent. That's an Unimgen though. Getting Swords to Plowshare. Providing 4 life for the green player. Now I suppose the preacher can try to persuade a creature again here. Here we go. Yeah, what to give him here? If he gives him an elf, he might actually be forced to play a land next turn. And then he attacks. White attacks with the lion and the elf. Another elf and a Sylvan Library. Okay, no land drop from green. He just refuses to let the white player gets any use out of that land text. And the elf will provide the 4th mana source, so he can still play Unimgens at this point. And white just comes in swinging again here. Okay, and using the Trader Elf for colorless mana to bring the Serra Angel out here. Bunch of pressure on green. Guess he needs a Hurricane. It will take care of the Meta Pegasus and the Serra Angel if only green has access to one of the Hurricanes. And he obviously needs another land drop as well as a Pendelhaven. Could there be a Hurricane? No, it doesn't look like it. It's an Unimgen. Okay. But sadly, the Urnum Djinn doesn't really fly, so it won't be able to stop the Serra Angel from coming over. At least green has a bunch of life total still. 13 life. Oh, Source Closure in the Urnum Djinn. Needs to be removed from the graveyard though, that's a common mistake. He can pump it, I suppose, if he wants to, but if he does so, he won't be able to block the lion. Or the elf if it attacks. It does surprise me that the lion doesn't come over. Oh, it's because the Pendelhaven is there. It can pump the wolf. Okay, Northern Paladin coming out here, and only an elf from the green player. So it looks like this is a triumphant final game for white here. Okay, but he pumps... What? Pumps the elf. What is this? Okay, let's see. Getting pumped with the Pendelhaven. Oh, he does it in the attack step. 3 berserks and a bunch of yeah, and then white can just block with everything. But yeah, they replay it here. There was a bit of over eagerness from green here. So normally he would just block with the Northern Paladin here. So he comes over, Northern Paladin blocks, gets pumped by Pendelhaven, gets pumped by Wolf, it looks like. Yeah, getting bumped with, and then it's 3 in power, 6, 12, 24. 24 points of damage, trampling over. So that's 21 after the Paladin has taken its 3 points of damage. So 21 trample damage going in, just nicking a victory out from the jaws of defeat here. Green just again punching in out of nowhere. I think as you get more accustomed to these matchups, the obvious play from white here would be to keep that Horsey, that Pegasus untapped, just to stop berserking creatures like this. It could just band with whatever that blocks it, and those trample damage will never get past the Pegasus. So yeah, a bit of an oversight from white here, but I suppose that's how it goes. It is a brand new meta. So yeah, green took this one 2-1 against what I thought would be one of the strongest brews here. But I mean, there are many ways to treat white and many ways to treat green, so it's hard to say which colors are better. So far, black has taken green and green has taken white. Let's follow these games up with some more mono matchups here. We have some more brothers that'll get into the fray. I'll see you next time.